Morning peeps. Well, it's been a couple of weeks since I made a video, so I thought I'd bring you guys up to date on what's been happening on the allotment and what I've been sowing here in the kitchen. So come and have a look. On the kitchen counter this week you can see a couple of close-ups of some French beans. Just starting to pop their heads up. There's some there. And some other pots, you can see the earth is being pushed up there by a bean, and you can just about make out that one there coming through. Those there are the butternut squash seeds that I planted in a previous video. They've come up. I'm going to plant those out today. It's just starting to turn a little pale, so I'm thinking they need a feed, which means I'm just going to get them out at the allotment and then they should take its course. And finally over there I've got some spring onions. They all come through, but they're looking a bit sorry for themselves, so I guess they've got to be planted out soon. Before we go up to the allotment, I just want to show you the French bean seeds. All I did was, depending on how big each pot was, for example this pot I've sown 3 seeds into it, so it's literally dip your finger and plop a seed into each hole, and as you can see they're all starting to come up. It's as simple as that. If you want to know the variety of the French beans that I've sowed, they are the Matilda climbing beans. They're actually the seeds that I've saved from last year's plants. So they've just been recycled. They've gone into these pots and they're doing well, they're coming up. So there you go. I'm just going to give them a quick water before we get up to the allotment. Okay, so every time I've been planting seeds into the pots and trays and that, I've been using this little device to water them in. It gives quite a fine, gentle spray, as you can see. Doesn't swamp them too much. Now I'm not laying claim to this idea. This was Dan from Allotment Diary. This was his genius idea that he I think perfected a couple of years ago, or certainly did a video about it about a year or two ago, which I watched, and I've been using certainly this season. Now all he's got is one of these plastic bottles, buy from any supermarket shop, and I think on his video he drilled small holes into the actual cap. Well, I've kind of slightly changed the method. I think it was a drill he used. Dan, if it isn't, I'm sorry for yeah, whatever, telling lies. What I use is this drawing pin. And so just get yourself an empty plastic bottle. I mean, using a bit of force, just puncture the lid numerous times until you have the required amount of holes. I don't know, maybe 10, maybe more. And so you get that effect. Fill the bottle up. And Bob's your uncle. Anyway, I just thought I'd remind you guys of Dan's little tip there. Alright, let's get up to the allotment. YouTubers. I'm annoyed. Let me tell you why I'm annoyed. You know those butternut squash plants that you've just seen in the last video segment? Well, I've only gone and left them at home. I've come up to the plot with the sole purpose to plant those out, show you guys how I do it, and then give you a quick plot tour. And they're sat on my windowsill at home, laughing at me. just like you are now. So instead, this video is just going to be a very quick plot tour. There's a lot of weather about in the sky. It looks like it's going to rain. Hopefully it will. I did spend 10 minutes earlier just watering some of the plants out there, and a fellow allotmentier came over to me and said, "Why are you watering? It's supposed to rain." So I took his advice and stopped. But if it doesn't, it just means I'm going to have to come up after work tomorrow and water the plants when I could be doing it now. Anyway, I digress. Let me give you a quick tour of a plot. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me over the wind. It is fairly windy out today. I will shout. Alright, let's get out there. 7 rows of Sarpomera have come up. Earthed up and looking good. The broad beans are looking very boisterous, although these first 2 rows are lagging behind those others. They seem to be doing okay. These are the Bunyard's exhibition broad beans. Now the plants are supposed to grow to 1 metre in height. They're nowhere near that yet. I do hope they put on a bit more weight and a bit more height. Anyhow, peas looking good. Peas are looking very, very good. I would say the onions are the star performers on the plot this year so far. They're looking a bit straggly on top, but the stems are thickening up, so that's going to mean a good onion. I've got 1 row of carrots to the left, Nantes or Nantes, parsnips in the middle, and spring onions to the right. No signs of life as of yet, but they were only planted about a week ago. Under the cloche are the secret lettuce. They're starting to fatten up. I will do a big reveal one day. Now last year, this bed here contained a lot of raspberry canes, which I inherited from the previous plot owner. Well, I've dug those out, and this is going to be a flower bed this year. Now the only thing that I know is that one there. That's a sunflower that I put in. Looking a bit sorry for himself, but he'll pick up. I think the others in the middle are dahlias. I'm not too sure what the ones at the end are, and the ones that are forming the border, because my dad planted those. He's the flower expert and the veg expert, I suppose, but he does like some flowers, so he came up and planted those. Hopefully midsummer there'll be a great display. The cloche is out, and inside the cloche are cabbages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 cabbages under the cloche. You may remember the beetroot that I showed a couple of weeks ago. Well, a couple of them are starting to fatten up. They were grown in modules. There are a couple of sunflowers along there. That one in the middle looks like he's died, but the other 3 are going okay. I've started to dig the rest of this bed. I've got that segment to do. But yeah, it's slowly starting to take shape. Now this is the dwarf apple tree, James Grieve. Look at the amount of apples on this. I wouldn't say hundreds, but there's way more than there was last year. that. So we may get a bumper apple crop this year. And let me just move over here. That is the Atlantic giant pumpkin. First time growing it. See if we can't grow a big pumpkin this year. Well, that's it for today. Short and sweet. The weather is pretty miserable out there. Pretty windy. Doesn't make for good gardening conditions. So I'm going to wrap this one up, people. I will see you on the next video. Hopefully I'll be planting out those butternut squash. Until then, goodbye.